He joins us now live from our newsroom. Kaya, the Justice Minister warning that there won't be any blanket amnesty, and as I understand it, the students want a wholesale dropping of prosecution of these students. So can we say there's been agreement here?
Well, Tembekile, I can tell you this much. The Minister has reiterated that there won't be just blanket amnesty. So what they will do is that there will be a lot of consultation with the National Prosecuting Authority. So each case, for example, will be looked into so that they can find a way to make it work in favor of these students. So also he made a lot of elaboration, for example, about the laws of the country, that it does provide a number of alternatives. You're looking here at mediation, diversion, or perhaps a way of seeing that one has really committed a particular crime as opposed to serving a sentence in jail. So the Minister said it's a very rigorous process, so it's going to be very thorough. But from the side of the students at Tembekile, they were very quite hell-bent in saying that there were no specifics here, especially because there was no time frame given by the Minister as to for how long will the consultation with the NPA be for, and also something to the effect that this has been ongoing for some time, so there hasn't been really any political will to try and address this particular issue.
Nkosi Khanyile and Mcebo Dlamini were among the students whose arrest during those Fees Must Fall protests grabbed headlines. Do we have a clear tally at this stage of just how many students still face prosecution, and more importantly, how many are possibly still in detention?
Well, Tembekile, I think that's a challenge for now. So there hasn't been any clear-cut number given. We know that some, they are already serving the sentences, but there hasn't been any confirmed number at this point. And also some, for example, they're still going to court, facing quite very serious charges like public violence, among others. But more importantly, Tembekile, there was a very quite clear response from the side of the Minister. He said he met with the student leaders, but also more importantly, there was a very clear understanding of the principles of separation of power, that the executive really constitutionally doesn't have those powers. As much as when you look at Section 84 of the Constitution, it prescribes and stipulates clearly that the president can actually sanction a pardon, but also there it depends on the circumstances at hand per applicant. So that was another issue that was very clear. But of course the activists were quite aggrieved. But from their side, I mean, they've made a commitment that they will work with the Minister in making sure that they're able to find a solution. But they seem to be very determined in calling for a blanket amnesty, something at this point that is not really feasible.
Very shortly then, another issue that's come up is some level of unhappiness with the implementation of free higher education. What exactly was said today?
Well, it's always a very thorny issue, Tembekile. So, I mean, the activists who were there, they were saying, as much as we're talking about free quality education in the country, it's really not the case, because a lot of them, they're not really enjoying those benefits. But also, more importantly, one is still required to pay certain fees to be able to access the results. So, in other words, they were really saying that it's still very mythical that we have free quality education in the tertiary level, and also calling for more funding to be pumped in supporting this particular sector, and for government to really just be able to, make sure that these particular policies supported, especially because this has always been a resolution from the side of the governing party, and it took almost a decade for this to be implemented. So they're calling for more political will to make sure that this really becomes the true case.
All right, Kylie Khumalo, let's leave it there for now. ENC reporter Kylie Khumalo bringing us the latest on that briefing.